Hello beautiful peeps, how are you doing today? Just out at the Bowl Hills, got the nice trees there. I've come to a little secluded place because it's quite noisy up there, but I'm just chilling, catching the last bit of the sun for today. I've been wanting to make a nice video for you guys, and I've recorded some things to put together for different videos and stuff, but I did want to do one out in the sunshine, enjoying life. Yeah. I get quite observant when I'm out and just like people watching and stuff, and it's just mad. I see a lot of people living in their ego and or living unconsciously, unaware in their unawareness. So many people out drinking. That used to be me. As soon as the sun's out, let's get some alcohol. But what do we actually gain from having alcohol? And why is it so normalized in our culture, in our society, to all be alcoholics? Oh my god, there's a bee. There's a buzzy bee. Buzzy bee. Hello. Hello. Sorry, so got distracted by this little bumblebee coming up next to me. Bzzz. Made me happy, cheered me up. I'll put a bit of water out in case little bumblebee comes back. Deary me. That also reminds me of M&S are wanting to release lots of honeybees into the wild, and that isn't good because honeybees aren't as good at pollinators as all the other wild pollinators, and yeah, it takes the balance out of the ecosystem. It's not very balanced for that to happen. So yeah, honey isn't good for the bees, basically. Well, buying honey isn't, and creating honey for human consumption isn't good for the bee population or for the environment. So if you want to save the bees, be vegan, do your research, and love all the beings. Yeah, yeah. Whoa, butterfly. Oh, I love nature. So cool. Oh, so much more happy down here. Chilling with the bees and the butterflies. So much nicer chilling with the animals. I was watching the magpies earlier. They looked like they were maybe teen magpies, and they were like hopping about looking for food, 4 of them messing about together, and they just looked so cool. I videoed them for a bit, but then I was like, oh, I'm just going to watch with my eyes, and that was a lot better, seeing their beautiful colours and the blue hues on their black and white backs. Like, they're such lovely birds. Well, all birds are lovely birds. And then I was watching like a crow or blackbird, or I'm not sure which one it was, or maybe it was a raven. I don't know how to tell the difference, but and they were eating some food on the floor, which was quite cool. I love it. Animals just live in the moment, or non-human animals just live in the moment, you know, just being and just living, thriving day to day, you know, getting food, playing, catching some sun, you know, building a nest or whatever they're doing, just living life. And I feel like with humans, we overcomplicate life so much, and with technology, and you know, we've got everything in high demand now. If we want something, we got it like that. We order anything online, switch on the TV, be entertained, or, you know, washing machine washes your clothes for you. You know, you don't even have to cook anymore, you can just go on an app, you don't even need to talk to anyone, have something delivered to your door. And I feel like it's making us lazy and unwell, because we need to train our brains every day and be doing new things and learning new things and challenging ourselves, for our own mental health and physical health and well-being, and just to feel alive. That's why I do enjoy cooking things from scratch and being there with the colours and the flavours and the smells, and you're using all your senses and cooking intuitively. And vegan food is just so beautiful. And when I was cooking with meats, I never used to like to touch the meat or raw meat, or anything like that. It was really gross to me. And also the smells of like egg or fish can be very overpowering, even more so now I'm vegan. But at the time I didn't like to handle those things, so I much more enjoy cooking now, because everything's all good, there's nothing that can harm me, and you can pretty much eat anything raw, apart from like beans and stuff. Obviously you got to soak them, cook them, so yeah, humans are living unaware, and I feel like it's my calling to help people raise their consciousness and raise their awareness, and that's the journey that I've been on a lot recently. And I feel like I've got this fire in me to share that information. But then I've not been called to make videos as much, because sometimes I think, oh, is it just my ego wanting to do these things? But we need to have confidence in ourselves as well, and be in tune with our hearts and our soul, and feel into what we're really being called to say and do, and just flowing with it, flow with life. I met up with a friend yesterday, and they were saying, what do you think the meaning of life is? And I like these kinds of conversations. But I was saying, I feel like the meaning of life is to just live, But they were like, oh, well, you could just exist, but that's not really. But I didn't really expand on that. I don't mean to just exist, like to actually live, thrive, nourish ourselves, nourish those around us, and be in tune with the divine nature of the world, because we're all one. We're all one in the same. We're all consciousness experiencing itself in different ways, We're all divine, limitless, intergalactic beings having a human experience right now, Who knows, we could have been animals before, we could have been all sorts of different things before, or other humans in other different situations, and we're always learning and growing. And that's another purpose in life, I feel like, is to learn, but not to gain power and control or like superiority, but just learning for the joy of learning and understanding and experiencing life in different ways, and also learning about ourselves. That's the most important learning we can do, is learning from within our inner world. We already know everything, really. It's all within us. If you've heard of the Akashic records, it's meant to be like the spiritual records of everything that's ever been and done and known, and we can tap into so much and tune in so much. I speak with the angels often, or if I have worries, I ask the angels to help me. And I believe in numerology, and synchronized numbers pop up, and I research what they mean, and that gives me guidance in certain times when I'm uncertain. So yeah, we can tune in to this bee is back, spirit. Hey, there's some water here. Water? 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 The bee was just coming to say hi, evidently. Could have been an angel or the fairies, or... You know, we are spiritual beings, and there's so much that we as humans in our egoic states cannot grasp or comprehend, and it's egotistical to think that we can know everything or that we already do know everything. Collectively, maybe we can start to touch on things, but there's so much mystical, magical energy in this world that, you know, can't be explained in the terms we use today, or the artificial constructs of thinking that we're stuck in, the ways that we think today, because, you know, ancient Egyptians and Mayans and all sorts of people way back in the day were more in tune with spirit and themselves, and, you know, the stars and energy, and they obviously knew some sophisticated ways to, you know, build the pyramids and stuff like that. We still don't know how it's done today, and couldn't do that with what we have today, so they must have been onto something, you know, and a lot is hidden from us. And when we're dimming our light and staying unaware, it's harder to tap into this energy and tune into it. So, and as Ralph Smart likes to say, the unorganic ones, or the powers that be, Babylon, whatever you want to call it, but I like the, you know, the unnatural ones. They want to control us, that have the power, the money, or the financial power, you know, and seem to be monopolizing this world. They don't want us to know our strength. It's not in their best interest for us to know our freedoms, know that we're truly, and be truly awakened, and know our power, you know, because they can't profit off of us then. Do you know what I mean? And we get stuck in these ego traps, and we're slowly killing ourselves in loads of different ways, you know. Smoking. I used to smoke, and pretty much most people I know smoke or did smoke, and that's just cigarettes. And then drinking, like, why is drinking even legal? All the other drugs are illegal, and a lot of the drugs that are illegal, like psychedelics, expand your mind, open your mind. You know, mushrooms can help depression, magic mushrooms, and expand your mind. When I first tripped, that's what really opened my mind to a lot of things, opened my consciousness, and I couldn't put it into words, but I knew and understood everything. It was like, I get it now, I get it, I truly get it. But then also, when we're abusing these types of drugs instead of using them as plant medicine, then that's another ego trap we can get in, and, you know, abuse it. When we're abusing these things, it's not good for us, you know. And again, there's hard drugs as well, so like cocaine. Up in the mountains, they chew the cocoa leaves of the natural plant that makes cocaine. They chew the leaves because of the high altitude, and that helps them, you know. So nature provides everything in its place, but then when we take advantage of that too far, you know, exploit that for money, power, all those things, and we're abusing it, it's not working, you know. Cocaine's a really addictive drug that harms a lot of people, you know, and you could turn it into crack, and that's, you know, even worse. And then that's been used to control people and keep people down, you know. And, you know, same with heroin as well. Obviously poppy seeds, perfectly fine to eat some poppy seeds, that's good for you. But then you've got opium, and you could use those in medical ways, but then it gets abused, and nature provides everything in the most natural ways that we can be is going to be much better for us. And with alcohol, that starts out as a plant, a potato, then you can create vodka, and then vodka ain't gonna do you good, but potatoes all dandy. When we refine and overly produce things, then it's not good for us, and mass producing things isn't good for us. Life is best simple, humble and wise, The Rastas know this. The Rastas have been preaching consciousness for so long and speaking wisdom. And I've been listening to reggae all my life, but I still feel like it must have been going in, obviously, but I wasn't aware of some of the things at the time. And now I'm more aware of these things. When I'm listening to it, I'm like, whoa, yeah, they know, they get it. And sometimes I've got to just listen to reggae all day just to feel connected. And like, there's some people in the world that aren't drinking and are aware of, the horrors of the system and governments that rule and different things like that, and also conscious of our power and our struggles as humans and things, and how we can come out of that and love ourselves and live that ITAL lifestyle, eating whole plant foods, not eating dead bodies. I feel like that's a crazy thing that's normalized, eating animals. We're built as herbivores, we're primates, and primates are built up as herbivores. And yeah, you might say, oh, some of them eat bugs and things, but that's a very small percentage. They're still classed as herbivores. Our mouths go like that. That's for grinding foods, grains, grass, not grass, but leaves, grass for the cows. They could do that too, Any omnivores or carnivores, their mouths just go up and down. And they have really sharp fangs. We have canines, but they're not fangs. I know mine are quite pointy, but still I couldn't bite into like a rabbit or a deer and just rip their flesh out and start eating them. So, and I don't have it innately in me to want to do those things. When we see animals, we see animals. We don't see them as food unless it's been deeply ingrained within us to see them that way. And we love animals, we want to look after them. When we see an animal injured, we want to look after them. We don't think, oh, easy dinner. We don't want to watch horrible slaughterhouse footage because it upsets us and puts us off eating animals. If we were carnivores or omnivores, wouldn't that make us hungry? And we'd like to see blood and their guts and everything. We'd eat all of it, fur and guts and blood and everything. We wouldn't care. And carnivores also have a lot more acidic stomachs, so they just burn through the meat. They don't even need to chew it. That's why they just rip it off, swallow, and their stomachs burn through it all. So we have hands for gripping, grabbing fruits, picking, planting, doing all these amazing creative things with our hands. And we see the spectrums of colours we see is full colourful rainbow plant foods. We are nourished when we're eating plants. We lower our chances of getting heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and we can even reverse some of these illnesses by eating whole plant foods. Yet when we eat animals and their secretions, dairy and eggs, it actually causes us extreme damage. It causes our arteries to clog. Carnivores and omnivores' arteries do not clog when they eat animal flesh. You know, I could go on for ages about that, but they're just some of the ways, you know, we're living totally out of the mainstream. We're living totally out of our natural ways of being, and that's why so many people are just depressed and upset. We're displaced, you know, we're not in line and in tune with ourselves, and the people that are usually ridiculed, you know. Even me just having armpit hair annoys some people, and it's like, this is my body and my choice, this is how we naturally are. Women have hair, you know, and it's just because of advertisement and colonialism and different things where people have been brainwashed to think that we need to get rid of hair as women to be feminine. That is total bullshit. And if people want to get rid of their hair for whatever reason, then that's up to them, and that's totally fine. And you know, as long as they understand why they're doing it, you know, if it's for their own comfort and their own preference, not because they're just blindly following the norm, which I feel most people are. That's why we drink, that's why we smoke, do drugs, put on makeup, you know. And all of this is for profit, and all of this is to dull us down, you know. Even with makeup, do you know there's like talc? I looked through my makeup ingredients, which I'd not looked through when I bought them all, because I just unconsciously bought them. I've had them for ages, and I rarely wear makeup, maybe once a year, once every 2 years. It depends. I feel like a drag queen when I have makeup on. I like the look of it as an artistic form on some people when it's done really well, but I just hate having stuff on my face. I don't like it. I don't like it. Even having a wet face, when I get out of the shower, that's the first thing I dry is my face. Sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, so even in the makeups, there's like so much talc. That's not good for you. They used to have lead and stuff in makeup way back in the day. So they're putting all this toxic stuff that we then put on ourselves. You know, some of the lotions and stuff people use to prevent acne and stuff has skin irritants in. You know, some of this anti-dandruff shampoo and stuff creates dandruff. It's all business. You got to think, where is the money coming from? Are they exploiting me? That's why it's best to go for whole plant foods and also whole plant products. I use shea butter and coconut oil on my skin, or maybe something that's made up of those things and natural oils, essential oils, but normally from like a local business or something, like but it will have all natural whole plant products, whole plant source in there, do you know what I mean? And same, you know, we're not drinking enough water, we're not, you know, even sunscreen, I've heard, is meant to cause cancer, and like, that's mad. People are scared to get out in the sun. I love it. As soon as the sun's out, I have as little clothes on as I can bear, because this is our solar panels that's absorbing the vitamin D and absorbing that beautiful energy. Speaking of that, I need to get back into the sun. So yeah, by having lots of our body out, then it's soaking up all those rays. It's really important. Melanin is really good for us and helps us. And you know, I'm out today, it's lovely weather, and I sort of have my top rolled up. I've got shorts on under my trousers, so I took my trousers off, had my shorts on, soaking up as much sun as I possibly could. And then I was looking around and I could see people in coats, hats, jackets, covered up. And I'm like, sometimes you feel the warmth more by having your skin out, because you can feel the sun on you, but when you cover over that, then it feels colder because you've not got the sun on there. So yeah, it's good to get some sun, you know. a lot of things that we're told isn't good. Like, everyone's confused. Even some people are scared to eat fruit because of the sugar. Yet don't mind eating cakes or having free sugars in their tea or whatever. But it's good because it's from a whole plant, and that's totally fine. The sugar is balanced out with the fibre and the vitamins and minerals in there, you know. But when we extract the sugar to exploit it, people get addicted to that, you know, white sugar, you know, and it damages our brains and things. You know, it makes me so sad because people think it's inevitable, a lot of these illnesses and stuff like Alzheimer's, but actually we can prevent Alzheimer's by eating a whole plant-based diet, whole foods plant-based diet, you know, not having oils or refined sugars or refined grains, you know, all whole grains. By eating that, nourishing ourselves, you know, hydrating, and also learning something new every day, you know, challenging ourselves, living our purpose and keeping our brain active. But a lot of people are stuck in like a 9-to-5 job that soul destroying, and then living for the weekend, getting drunk on the weekend, and it's a trap, it's a slave trap, and it's damaging our brains because we're too tired then when we get home to do anything that's gonna satisfy our souls and our minds and stimulate us. We need to keep stimulating ourselves and challenging ourselves, and in more ways than just online in this computer world or spending money, you know. Get out in nature. We need to get out in nature and exercise every day and breathe, you know, and sometimes just be instead of doing all the time. We're living in this capitalist society that's making us, putting our value, our worth on how much we can obtain or how much we can earn, or how productive we are in society, you know. And then anyone who's, you know, disabled or not able to do some of those things or doesn't want to do these things and thinking outside of the box, then is seen as not worthy in society, when really we could be learning from these people. Because the reason why there's so many people, well, a lot with chronic illnesses and stuff, some illnesses are unavoidable, but some, I feel like, are because we can't fit in this society because of the pressure, you know. Like with fibro, it's all to do with your thingy system, brain, all to do with your senses. And oh, why can I not think of the word? It's really annoying me. I've just got immune system in my head, but it's not that, even though it is an autoimmune disease. I can't think of the word, but you know what I mean. All over your body, what senses things. So hold on. Sorry, had to Google it. Brain fog. Your nervous system. So it's to do with your nervous system. So I feel like, you know, we've been pushed to the limit, and then we're overly sensitive to things, you know, like bright fluorescent lights I can't stand, or like grating noises, or, you know, find it hard with hot heat and being too cold and regulating temperature, like being overly sensitive to things. I feel like with a lot of these things, same ADHD, it's like we think differently and outside the box of the mainstream, but it's good because we see the world in a different way, you know. Also, I see people with autism like have the most beautiful minds and think out of the box in these different ways, and I feel like there's becoming more of these kinds of people because we're here to show the world there's a different way that we can live, and we're overly sensitive to this system that we're not meant to be living in, because it's not natural to how humans are meant to be. So yeah. I'll probably just end it there or soon, because I've talked on a lot of different topics. But thank you for listening, and it's really helped me speaking on some of these things. You know, I see so many people in pain and suffering, and there's so many ways we can help ourselves if people just knew their power and knew their power and trust their instinct and trust what we know in our hearts. Put your hand on your heart and ask yourself these important questions, and you know the answer, you know. And certain ways we think, we've got to question why we think these ways. And thoughts aren't truths, you know. Our minds can be tricky, but our hearts know. You know, our gut knows, our soul knows. So when we tune into ourselves and we tune into our senses, then we can really become stronger, and all the strength is already there, but we can tap into that strength within us and that inner knowledge, knowing, and empower ourselves, you know, to heal and grow and create the world that we want to see, be the change that we want to be, you know. So I have faith in you, and I have faith in myself, and I have faith in the divine spirit that is always holding and protecting us. You know, you've come this far, I've come this far, and we've been protected every day. You know, so find your purpose, find your voice, and stand for what you believe in. Stand for justice and love for yourself and for others, you know, and live in joy. So much love. Thank you for being with me today, and I'm going to try to do more videos more often. I know that people have been asking for them. Sorry, itchy ear. And yeah, I'll be sharing my talents as much as possible. You should too, you know. I feel like it's my calling to inspire others to reach their full potential whilst also reaching my own. And maybe that's all our missions in life for everyone, is to elevate and help each other elevate, you know, and appreciate this beautiful life, this beautiful world, and nature, you know, every day. I'm so grateful to be alive and be here with you. So thank you. I'm grateful for you. Love you. Peace. Have a wonderful, beautiful, magical day.